I am Tarik Toros. Welcome to What's Happening in Turkey. Politics, diplomacy, the economy and the law are deeply intertwined in Turkey, where major developments are unfolding. The country's most prominent opposition figure, Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu, is facing fresh legal charges. If convicted, he could be banned from politics, reshaping the landscape of Turkey's opposition. Meanwhile, a fierce power struggle is playing out within his party, the CHP. Most mainstream media outlets in Turkey now operate under government influence, leaving social media as one of the last remaining spaces for independent news. But even there, censorship is escalating. X, formerly Twitter, is facing record levels of government pressure. In another alarming development, the long-lost case on the 2013 Gezi Park protests has been reopened. Investigators are scrutinizing messages, phone calls, and even videos from over a decade ago. Actress Melissa Sözen has been summoned for questioning, not for a real-life act, but for a role she played in a French TV series 8 years ago. Meanwhile, an unexpected diplomatic visit took place. Ahmet Al-Sharaa, Syria's de facto leader, landed in Ankara on a plane sent by President Erdoğan. But the biggest news of the week, the Wall Street Journal has published a damning report on financial misconduct linked to Erdoğan's government. The report, based on files held by the White House, details how Russia funneled billions into Turkey through back channels involving sanctions evasion, money laundering, and bank fraud. Let's begin with that. Russia's cash pipeline to Erdoğan, sanctions, laundering, and US pressure. On Monday, February 3rd, the Wall Street Journal published an expose that Turkish media largely ignored. Before Turkey's 2023 elections, Russian President Putin provided Erdoğan with a crucial financial lifeline by delaying Turkey's $20 billion natural gas debt. This helped stabilize the country's dwindling foreign reserves and the collapsing Turkish lira. That much was already known. But the Wall Street Journal investigation went further, uncovering 3 explosive claims tied to Russia's Akkuyu nuclear power plant project in southern Turkey, sanctions evasion, money laundering, and bank fraud. Following its invasion of Ukraine, Russia found itself cut off from the global financial system due to Western sanctions. At the same time, Erdoğan was scrambling to secure foreign currency before the elections. This set the stage for a mutually beneficial but highly questionable financial arrangement. According to the report, Russia transferred $9 billion to Turkey's state-owned Ziraat Bank, disguising the transactions as legitimate payments related to Akkuyu. Here's how it worked. Western sanctions blocked Russian banks from the global system, except for Gazprom Bank, which was granted a limited exemption to process energy-related payments. Russia first funneled $9 billion into Gazprom Bank. From there, the money flowed into Ziraat Bank, under the pretense of payments, to Russian firms with Turkish accounts. But the scheme caught the attention of US authorities when some of the transactions passed through major American banks like JP Chase and Citigroup. The Biden administration intervened, instructing US banks to freeze the suspicious transfers. By the time, over $5 billion had already reached Ziraat Bank, but $2 billion was blocked at JP Morgan. US pressure on Erdoğan, sanctions, legal cases, and political leverage. In 2023, US prosecutors saw White House approval to seize the frozen funds, citing sanctions violations, money laundering, and bank fraud. However, the Biden administration opted to delay legal action, fearing that a direct confrontation with Turkey could escalate tensions. As with the Halkbank case, Washington appears to be using these financial investigations as a tool to influence Erdoğan's decisions. US officials see them as strategic leverage, ready to be activated when Turkey drifts too far from Western interests. The Wall Street Journal report also points to key Turkish officials directly involved in these transactions, most notably Ibrahim Kalın, who at the time served as presidential spokesperson and foreign policy advisor. He now leads Turkey's intelligence agency, MIT, and Nurettin Nebati, the former Minister of Finance. Neither Kalın nor Nebati responded to the newspaper's inquiries, with Donald Trump indicating that he intends to maintain strict enforcement of Russia sanctions. Turkey's financial maneuvers may soon face renewed scrutiny. For the first time, Turkey's intelligence chief is openly named in a US sanctions investigation. The message is clear. If Turkey's government fails to balance its relations with the West, these frozen cases could be revived at any moment. Syria-Turkey talks, Al-Sharaa, the Kurds, and Ankara's next move. Ahmed Al-Sharaa, Syria's de facto leader, made his second official visit abroad, this time to Turkey after Saudi Arabia. His arrival in Ankara on a government-sent plane underscores the shifting dynamics in Turkish-Syrian relations. At the heart of discussions, the Kurdish autonomous region in northern Syria. Although there was no official statement, Al-Sharaa broke his silence in an Economist interview on February 3rd, arguing that the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, lack local legitimacy. He also revealed that Ankara is preparing for a large-scale military operation against Kurdish forces, but that Damascus has persuaded Turkey to hold off, at least for now. While negotiations continue, Al-Sharaa remained cautious about a potential breakthrough, stating, "We enter the process with the hope of a peaceful resolution, but I would not be overly optimistic." İmamoğlu's trial, a political ban in the making. The most controversial domestic issue of the week was the new indictment against Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu. Prosecutors are accusing him of threatening the city's chief prosecutor and are seeking up to 7 years in prison and a political ban. İmamoğlu has long been seen as Erdoğan's most serious challenger, but the opposition is in turmoil. Ankara Mayor Mansur Yavaş has also emerged as a potential candidate, and the CHP's leadership appears divided. Meanwhile, some political analysts believe Erdoğan is orchestrating events to ensure he faces a weaker opponent in the next election. Gezi protests reopened. A 12-year-old case resurfaces. In a surprising move, Turkey's judiciary has reopened the Gezi Park protest case, investigating phone calls and messages from 2013. A well-known talent agent has already been arrested. An actress, Melisa Sözen, has been questioned, not for her activism, but for playing a role in a TV series where she portrayed a YPJ fighter. The move raises fears that more arrests could follow, as authorities attempt to rewrite the past. Censorship. Is Musk caving to Ankara? The latest controversy involves Elon Musk's X, formerly Twitter, which has been rapidly complying with Turkish government demands to block accounts. Reports suggest that once an account is suspended, at Ankara's request, appeals are ignored, and reinstatement is nearly impossible. This has raised serious concerns about digital censorship and whether Musk's X could set a dangerous precedent for other authoritarian governments worldwide. Are these just efforts to suppress dissent before elections? Or is Turkey testing the limits of what it can get away with on global social media platforms? The coming weeks may provide some answers. I am Tarik Toros. You've been watching What's Happening in Turkey. See you next week.